You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and known as the Ambassador of Joy. Notice I didn't say the Ambassador of Joy. The Ambassador of Joy, because on this show, we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And when you learn these and utilize these three fundamentals, the result is you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Now, how can I make the categorical statement that all the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and God willing millions, because you're going to share this with at least 5 people, everybody that's listening and watching, they're all good looking? Because by definition, if you tuned into the joy of living, it means you're always looking for and finding the good in life. That's a definition of a good-looking person. Looking for and finding the good in life. And when you do that, wonderful things happen. So let's just discuss the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. When you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. In this case, good number 2, you go mad. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for Make a Difference. And the 3rd fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example. Right now, this show is being carried around the world on the internet, 400,000+ people listening. And again, I urge you, share this with 5 people. You want to share it with 50 or 100, it's up to you, but at least 5. And that way we'll touch 2 million people. And you're going to be touched today by one of the most interesting, dynamic, and beneficial people you'll ever have the chance of listening to, right? To your benefit. So remember, www, ask anybody what does it stand for. They'll tell you it has to do with the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for What a Wonderful World. And what, of course, is a word, WHATA. And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong Satchmo for enabling that song to go viral. Whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile is an acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right. Seeing miracles in life every day. So I am blessed to speak to people on a regular basis, and both on the web and in person. And recently I was speaking to a group of 1,127 people, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and about seeing miracles in life. Some people raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours where I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink? Do you have food to eat? Do you have a place to sleep? Do you have family or friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. And again, the result is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I guarantee it, or your money back. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Imagine, if you can, this story about me. I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty. This is 20 years ago. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from the neck down. And it was not from an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. A rare disease took over my body and caused me to be what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved. I can only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 4 years. 2 years, I couldn't move. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. And the word, of course, is smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile, S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. That's right. Rethinking, what we call a shift in perspective. Now, you got to be careful with the word shift. You want to keep that F in place or the other stuff happens. And when you shift your perspective just a little bit, tiny bit, then you can be open and you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn in your whole life. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine the path of your life and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on our amazing guest, wonderful Howard Berg, that is, I'm going to warn everybody, including Howard, that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word. I do it because of the shock value and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, pray, free, gift, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, that's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, you have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face. Remember that stand for, point your finger and say, F-U, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Say, where'd you get that? Well, now you have their attention and you can tell them, I was listening to Barry Shore and The Joy of Living. And he had on this amazing guy, Howard. Let me tell you all about it. And before we bring on Howard, he's going to literally cause a shift in your life for the better. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I'm going to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Now, KIND is a fabulous acronym that stands for Keep Inspiring Noble Deeds. I can't think of anybody right now, anybody that inspires noble deeds that I want to share with you more than wonderful, amazing Howard Berg. Howard, please say hello to 487,921 people around the world.
I heard you had an amazing guest today. I can't wait to meet him. Hello, everyone.
Well, F you, Howard. When was the last time somebody said F you and you laughed, huh?
I'm married.
Okay, so Howard Berg, B-E-R-G, is a comedian, or he has a comedic streak to him. If I started reading all the things that he's accomplished and such, it would take the rest of the show. I'm going to give you 3 highlights. Number 1, he is known in the world, is recorded in the Guinness Book of Records as the world's fastest, most comprehensive reader. That's right. He set records, which we'll talk about with data points and such like that. Number 2, he literally can help transform people's reading abilities so that instead of becoming an overload, it becomes your mother load. How you like that one, Howard? And number three is that he's going to share with us a few secrets that when you implement them and utilize them and leverage them in your life will cause you a shift. And everything you want to know about Howard and what he does, just go to the show notes below. I'm going to urge everybody, don't take notes. Really, don't write anything down. I want you to experience Howard and just listen. The reason we record this is so you can go back again and you control it. Then you can listen again, second time, and pause and reflect and write things down and then you're going to listen a third time, and your world will be shifted. Remember, keep that F in place. The other stuff happens. So let's just jump right in, wonderful Howard, and say, first of all, who the heck are you? I know we call you Mr. Reader, and you're in the Guinness Book of Records, but give us a backstory, what it means, because that behind you is not a green screen. Those are really books, and you've probably read every single one of them. And more importantly than I'm saying this, more importantly than reading them, you've been able to glean information from each one. In other words, the ability to read, retain, and utilize that which is in the books is really the key to success. Is that not true, Howard?
Yeah, we live in an information-based world. And a lot of people think you make more money by working more jobs or more hours. That's how you burn out. You make more money by learning new skills that pay better. And you go from a 20-hour a day job to a $700 a day job. You work fewer hours. And how you do that is you can read 10 books by someone doing the things that you want to do. So now you have a business plan. You're not just trying blindly to change what you're doing. You're following a pattern. It worked 10 times. Well, you'll be the 11th time. And that's how successful people succeed. They follow in the steps of those who've been on the journey ahead of them.
I want to unpack a few things here because you've already given people a wake up. And again, don't take notes. Just listen and share this. Everybody you know, at least 5 people, that way we'll touch 2 million. Everybody you know should be aware of what Howard Berg is doing, has done for decades, and continues to do. He's dedicating his life. And I want to go unpack 2 things that you said right away. Number one, a path, P-A-T-H. In other words, once you are able to articulate and define where it is you want to be and where it is you're going, now you have the ability to get there. And the way to get there is through what I call the information. Then you have to move into the inspiration, and then you can move into the T word, which is what you're really about, transformation. And that's what this show is really all about. This show is not about Howard Berg, great guy that he is, or even Barry Shore, fabulous fellow. It's about you, Y-O-U, you becoming the best you. Matter of fact, Howard, one of the great acronyms for the word joy is Journey of You. Isn't that great? Okay. So here's the point. Howard says you need a path. Well, in order to have a path, you have to have a goal. So let's say that first goal, and you want to move, I'll exaggerate, but I think it's an important point. You want to move yourself from $100 an hour to $700 an hour. And it's not just that you'll end up having to work less. You'll be able to work as much as you want and whatever you want with more joy, happiness, peace, and love, because there is no limit to how much you can earn, because what the earning power is how much good you're doing for others. When you're here to serve, then you can do more. So again, I want to emphasize that what Howard is going to share with us today is as much less about technique and as much about results. See, techniques are wonderful. You need them. You have to learn chords in order to play an instrument. You have to practice those chords perfectly. What you really need and want is the results where people say, wow, that sounds good. I want more of that. I'll gladly give you what you want if you give me more of that. Am I right, Howard?
Absolutely.
So let's just jump in and ask this great question. Why do people learn slowly, and how do we fix it? Notice I emphasize slowly.
You actually are showing them why also unintentionally. When you're driving in a car on a highway, there's a good chance you're going at least 70 miles an hour. And you're reading the road, front, back, left, and right, all at the same time. And you're watching your gauges, and you're watching your GPS, and you're bored.
And you're listening to something.
Turn on the radio, talk to your friends, you're on the phone. Many people are doing all that at the same time, and they're still bored. When you read a book, It's in one direction. It's in front of you. The average speed is 200 words per minute. And you only remember 10% the next day. So why is reading a road in 4 directions at 70 miles an hour easier than reading a book in one direction? And the answer to that holds the secret to why you read slowly. When you're in a car, you see everything like a movie. It comes in as images. When you're reading a book, it's what you did. It sounds like someone's talking in your head, one word at a time. So most people read as fast as they talk. By learning to see a movie, I'll give you an example. Look at all these books. You see them instantly. Now imagine reading the title on every spine of every book in front of you. How long would that take? That's not instant. Seeing is analog. You take everything in at once. A page is pictures called words. And you should be taking it in as a movie instead of listening to one word at a time. Then what I do is I play the movie back in my imagination, and in the pictures is all the data points that you want to recall. I was teaching this to the U.S. Special Forces because you were mentioning about goals. And I said, sometimes you have bad days. I said, do you know what the single most important question is you could ask? Because it's related to the theme of your story. I said, when you're having a bad day, the most important question you could ask is, what's the next best thing I can do now? Not why is this happening to me? Or this isn't fair, or I deserve better, which is what everyone's doing. You're looking at where you are, you're looking at where you want to go, and you're asking your brain, how do I get there? Despite everything going around right now, how do I get where I need to be? And the brain is a computer. If you want to get the right answer, you got to ask the right question. And the best question is, what do I do now? What's the best options? Instead of commiserating, feeling sorry for yourself, getting depressed, all that does is give you a second problem. Now you can't think because you're depressed. And the problem you originally had is only a tiny piece of the bigger problem that you aren't functioning. So learning to ask the right questions, how do I get from here to where I need to be, is step one. And then as we begin to see information more, instead of listening to information, it only takes about 2 hours. A normal person could read 100% faster in just 2 hours time with very, very good comprehension.
Okay, let's unpack a couple of things here because this is startling. Startling. First of all, everybody should know Howard is a Super Bowl champion. He has 13 rings. He has one for every finger and several on his toes. Now, why do I say that? I said it to get your attention. Because what he just told us is what every athlete, every star athlete especially, does for themselves in any situation. Every athlete will tell you, no matter what sport they're in, that by definition, not everything goes 100% of the way they want. Whoa, that's the beauty of life. The real question is, as Howard just articulated, is, well, what do I do now? Where am I moving forward to my goal? Whether it's in golf or football, basketball, any sport, doesn't matter. How am I moving forward? So the pro athletes, and to be professional only means you get paid. That means everybody listening is a professional because you're getting paid for something. When you begin to understand that you are a professional and you have your goal, then the fact that somebody didn't go the way exactly it was supposed to be right now, that's okay. The question is, Howard articulated, is, well, what do I do now? Next. And therefore, you will always move forward. He just gave us a promise. In 2 hours' time, you will be able to increase your ability not only to read, but to comprehend and to use information 100% more than you do now. Now, on that great note, We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Howard Berg in just a moment. We have sponsors who love the show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't vet them, think they're worthy of your time and your attention and your money. So just listen carefully and use them if you can. We'll be right back with Howard Berg. He's going to rock your world with more goodness. Be right back after this brief message.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless. Any business leader who has stood in front of potential investors can tell you, creating a vivid, compelling vision of the future can be the difference between bankruptcy and billions. If you can move people with words, you can practically will things into existence. Something that seems impossible can be made to seem inevitable. But not with bullet points, with a well-crafted and well-told story. I spent 30 years in advertising, creating stories for giant brands, universities, and governments, and changing people's hearts and minds. And over those years, I accumulated a treasure chest of insights about how to entertain and inspire and move people. And I think I can teach you. Can you think of a tool more powerful than human speech? See how your value changes when you start to master the oldest human art form.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Howard Berg, B-E-R-G. Look in the show notes below. Everything you want to know about him. Please, again, I urge you, don't take notes. Just listen. Listen to what's going on here. What's going on here is you. It's about you becoming the best you. And Howard just gave us a promise. In 2 hours, you could not only be reading 100% more, faster, better. Here's the real promise. You will not be reading a word at a time. You'll be seeing video. Everybody loves a video. Everybody likes that. I mean, that's people on social media all the time. You're captivated by videos. When your reading becomes a visual experience, now reading becomes fun. Now you can consume it like you do anything else. Just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. And guess what? You transform the world and you separate yourself from the vast majority of humanity and you join the ranks of what I call the 2%. Not the 1%, the 2%. 1% that's usually talk about money. We're not here for money. We're here to talk about the 2%, which those people who enjoy life to the full, who live life to the full in every area of life. Of course, finance is one, health is the other, and relationships is the third. So let's go jump back right in, Howard. First of all, it's always a pleasure to see you and be with you. I'm going to mention something to you about a book that changed my life when I was, I think, 18 years old, which now goes back more than half a century.
About 2 years ago, right?
Right. Yes. When I was mere sprite. And the book is titled How to Read a Book.
I know that book.
Of course you do. Hello.
It's one of the best books. Yes, that was not Mortimer Adler.
Yes, it was Mortimer Adler.
Mortimer Adler. He was the editor of the Encyclopedia Britannica for like 38 years.
Right. Yeah, regular guy.
That's the best book ever written on how to read a book. It's
okay,
brilliant.
So I used that. I wanted to, first of all, you just got an endorsement from Howard. So I urge everybody to find something about the book. I don't care if you ebook it, you listen to it, you just get excerpts. The point about it is that what we're talking about is the most important channel of information and goodness and transformation for you, which is this thing we call a book. And expand your consciousness to understand that it's not just something that's between two covers. And when you learn how to read a book and you control that, like Howard said, your mind's a computer. Okay, intellectually, we know that. Emotionally, you want to do that in such a way. And when you're riffling through the book, and now you're in control, you can read it front to back, you can read in the middle, you can go anywhere you want. When you learn how to read a book and you know that you're in control, guess what happens? You're basing it in the FU word, FU, capital N, capital N. Because if you have fun, you have an opportunity to learn better. Is that correct, Howard?
When you're enjoying yourself, the endorphins are flowing. If you think back to school, there were teachers, you felt sad when the bell rang, and there were others when you, please someone kill me, make that bell ring. I can't stand it anymore. It was painful. When someone teaches with joy, the brain lights up like a Christmas tree or a menorah, depending on where you're at. And it wants more because it feels so good. And it remembers what it's learning because it's such a joyful experience. So good teachers have learned to make learning fun. So people's brains light up while they're learning and everything sticks because they want to remember what made them feel so good.
So let you use that great word as a segue into something I want to ask you now. Okay, now I'm reading faster and better, and I'm remembering, and I'm transforming myself because I'm reading what it is I want to read because it's helping me with my goal, whatever that particular is. Again, defining your goal is a important, if not even important. It is fundamental to success in life. I don't care what age you're at. I really, and if you're starting out and you're 16 and you're listening to this, or you're 66 or 86, you're going to need to not only articulate, but to write down your goal. It must be clear, concise, compelling, clear, and specific. So let's talk about the R word, and I don't mean reading. Remember, 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 because there are lots of times where you can read something. And by the way, even reading it with comprehension and such like that, you want to be able to recall and remember it, much like the computer, even as good or better. So how wonderful, Howard, because this is your world. How can we remember better?
How about I show you how smart your brain already is? 2 ways. First, I'm going to give you something to remember, and you won't. Then I'll show you the smart way to do it so your brain remembers, and you will. So you want to remember 10 things. You want to remember pole, shoes, tricycle, car, glove, gun, dice, skate, cat, and bowling pins. If you're like most people, you don't know 10 things backwards and forwards. But in 3 minutes, you'll know the list backwards and forwards with no effort. And the secret is, if you have a list you know, it's hanging in your memory. What do you do with hangers? You hang things on it. We're going to hang those 10 things on 10 numbers. I'm going to bet everyone watching this podcast can count to 10. I feel very confident. Whatever other problems you might have in your life, counting to 10 isn't the challenge that you're trying to overcome. So we're going to use those 10 numbers that you know to learn those 10 things super fast. One more caveat. You remember by saying and doing. You only remember 10% of what you read, but 90% of what you say and do. This is the tool you're going to want to remember it. So when I ask you to interact, do it. So the number 1, it looks like a pole, like a lamp pole. So when I say 1, you say pole. 1.
Pull.
Perfect. 2 is shoes, because how many shoes do you wear?
2.
What's 2?
2 shoes. I
1.
got a pole and a shoes.
That's it. 3 is tricycle. There's 3 wheels on a tricycle. What's 3?
Too easy.
No,
got a pole. I got
What's 3?
3. Tricycle.
2.
Shoes.
1.
Pole.
Getting smarter. 4 is a car. There's 4 tires on a car. What's 4?
Wait a minute. I have to interrupt you for a moment because I'm having so much fun. And that's why I urge people, don't take notes. Follow along. This
You
is
don't need notes for this. You'll remember all 10 in 2 more minutes. You'll know the whole list.
Right. You got the pole, you got the shoes, you got the tricycle, you got the car. Let's even think outside of
Next
five.
one.
Hand. Hello. Five is going to be the hand.
It's a glove. A
A
glove.
glove.
So
A
what's
glove.
a glove? 5. Because there's 5 fingers in a glove. What's 5?
Glove.
What was 3?
3, of course, is the tricycle.
1.
A big pole, baby.
Going out of order. It doesn't matter. 6 gun. In Texas, they love guns. 6 gun. A cowboy likes a 6 gun. What's 6?
Actually, it's called a 6-shooter.
But I'm calling it a gun. I'm using poetic license. 6 gun. What's 6?
6 is a shooter. I mean, a gun, right?
4.
4 has to be a car because there's 4 tires.
2.
2, my Polish shoes.
Good. Lucky 7 and dice. 7 is dice.
Lucky 7. 5
What's
and 2.
7?
7, lucky dice.
4 dice. What was 5? Giving you a clue.
Glove.
What was 3?
3, of course, is a tricycle.
1.
1, a pole in a partridge tree.
Then we'll do a rhyme. 8 skate. Say that. 8 skate.
8.
Skate, like a roller skate. 8.
Oh, 8 skates. Oh,
8
roller skates, because each roller skate has 4 wheels.
And it rhymes.
And it rhymes. Oh,
So what's 8?
Well, I want to interrupt you. I mean, for the purpose of elucidation. We're talking about memory. Really, what we're talking about, remembering. We're making it into a verb. And what Howard just gave us as an insider baseball tip is the ability to use another R word, rhyme. And rhyme is a fascinating word because if you're going to ask somebody who, say, just spell it phonetically, it would be spelled R-I-M-E. Because, I mean, who's going to even think to spell it R-H-Y-M-E? That's just so bizarre. And yet, as a word to visualize, it's really cool. But the R word, the rhyme process triggers the mind. And again, goes back to the foundation, the F word. And here's where we use the F word again. Fun. So skates, 8 skates.
What was 6? What did they love in Texas?
6-shooter, baby. I mean, 6 gun.
Fine. 4.
4 is the car.
2.
My Polish shoes.
We're almost done. 9. How many lives does a cat have?
Oh, I thought you were going to go to how many months in a mother's. Okay, but yes, 9 lives to the cat.
So 9 is a cat. What's 9?
9 is a CAT.
What was lucky 7? What
Lucky
game?
7, dice, baby, dice.
5.
5 is the glove.
3.
3 is the tricycle, of course.
1.
My Polish friend.
Excellent. Last one. 10. How many bowling pins are in an alley?
Let me think. 10.
So let's see what you remember now in our audience. What was 1?
Pole.
2.
2 shoes.
3.
Tricycle.
4.
Car.
5.
Glove.
6. Texas.
Yes. Texas. Oh, you want to say Texas or gun or shooter. Okay, fine.
Lucky 7.
7 dice.
8 rhymes with
It's skate
9 lives
with cat.
and 10
bowling pins. Not
And
rolling
that's
pins.
how
He
hard
said he was
memory is.
married. Rolling pins.
by giving people different techniques for storing and retrieving. They're not just going to read quicker. They're going to have systems for taking it in and remembering it. And it's different in different subjects. The way you remember a language might be different than a novel, or reading a math book could be different than reading a history book. So there isn't one thing everyone uses all the time. It's what works best for you, because everyone's unique. And so I give them a tool chest of different things that will definitely work, and we find which one works for you in each subject. And some subjects will be easier, just like they've always been. And some subjects will be more challenging, just like it's always been. But you'll be learning all the subjects faster and better than you did before by using the right system.
Okay, let's use these 2 words that you just mentioned. As I said in the outset and throughout the podcast, and it's something that drives me because I'm here to serve. this show is about you, not about Howard, not about Barry. And it's about you touching and elevating the three major aspects of someone's life: being happier, healthier, and wealthier. And there is a fundamental that runs through each one of those three things. And that is not only the ability, but the beauty of reading. Reading is something that one can look forward to and should look forward to as a joy, as much a joy as going surfing or riding in your car, with the top down on a sunny day with somebody you love right next to you. Anything that you can think of, again, use what Howard just said to us, which was pictures. See, we think in pictures. And I'm going to make a bold statement here, Howard. By the way, during the break, I created an acronym for your name. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
You ready? So Howard is spelled Howard. Howard stands for Helping Others Win Advancement Reading Daily.
I like that.
Thank you. It's yours. That's who you are.
I really like that.
I'm inspired because I'm talking
That's
to
brilliant.
the person.
You're really good at that. I'm impressed.
Well, one of I published 4 books last year. I'm honored to say, and one of them is called A Pocket Full of Acronyms. It's volume 1. We have volume 2, 3, and 4 coming out because I have hundreds and hundreds of acronyms. This is what we do, and the reason I mention it is because we'll give it back to you again. The important thing is that when you begin to love the process called reading, you have done what we talked about before. You've caused a shift in your perspective. When you shift your perspective and not hold a book and think, and I know people that are like this, they think drudgery, right? They think arduous. They think hard. They think work. And now what we want to do is shift that perspective and think fun, pictures, enjoyment, learning, growing, more money.
I had an 84-year-old. She was the little lady from Pasadena. Literally, I taught her at Pasadena Community College. She read 3 books in 3 hours the day after I taught her. I gave her my phone number because I didn't know how well she would do. And she called me up. I said, Ruth, what's wrong? She says, wrong. I just read 3 books in 3 hours the day after I learned your program. And I'm 84. I don't know how much time I have left. But there's so much more I want to do with my life. And now I can do it. And it made me feel so good inside. I feel a connection to people I work with that they're like my family. You know, when your child gets a high grade, you can't put everyone's score on the refrigerator. But it makes me feel good to know that what I'm doing is making their lives better. It's not a money thing. It's a sense of fulfillment that it's
a mission
with your life. Yeah, a mission. You're doing something other than for yourself. You're making a difference.
Right. Well, Howard is a madman, as we said in the beginning. MAD is a great acronym. It's to make a difference. Howard, tell us the story about the Guinness Book of Records and how fast you read. Just, okay, let's pull it back the screen. How fast do you read, Howard? I don't just mean speed, but with comprehension, because you could just be flipping pages and think people say, wow, look how fast he's reading. Maybe it's just BS. Those are my initials. And, so tell us, have you ever been challenged by people who say, yeah, you can't read that fast and comprehend?
There's multiple questions. I'll take them one at a time. What I read at 80 pages a minute. It's about 25,000.
Wait a minute. That's 80 pages in a minute.
Page and a half a second. That puts it in So I was on Cavuto, who just retired. He had me read the 1,500-page healthcare bill right after it was printed, so no one had seen it. It was about that high off the floor. And I read it in 50 minutes, and then I did a full analysis. The way you get into Guinness, you have to submit proof. Most of the records have one proof, one newspaper clipping, maybe one television reporter. I had 5 reporters from 5 cities on television where they tested me live. and they were trying to prove I couldn't do it. And 5 newspapers tested me live to try to prove I couldn't do it. And so I had 10. And they said, that's more than anyone's ever had. So that's why we're putting it in, because all the other records only had 1. And there isn't a way 10 reporters from 10 cities are that close to you. You don't have any aunts and uncles and cousins to get that to happen. So that's how I got it. Everyone has to submit the documentation, and then they evaluate it. And in one city, I read an article for a science reporter on the physiology of nightmares in 90 seconds. And then I went on and talked for 5 minutes about what the study did and how it worked. And he said I understood it better than he did. So that's common. That's what I do.
Okay,
And that's why I got the world record. That's what I can do.
Okay, I want to emphasize something here. Take the most famous person that you know. I'm talking to the audience. Take the most famous person that you know in any sport. That person is unique. That person has talent that has been given by God that is special amongst billions of people. That person also worked remarkably diligently and hard for years to get to that top position. You don't have to be that. You'll never be that person in a sport. And you don't have to be Howard and read 80 pages in a minute. However, we can categorically say that you will be able to be a superstar in just a matter of a few hours when you apply yourself.
Faster.
Anybody and everybody in your language can do this. That's the beauty here. You can all be what other people will call a superstar, and it can change your life for the better in a matter of a few hours. Now, speaking of just changing your life for the better, we have sponsors. We wouldn't have them on. We didn't think they're worthy of your time and your attention, your money. We'll be right back with more Howard Berg and more abilities to help you right after this brief message. Don't go away. Good day, everybody. I am just so happy to be discussing our sponsor now called Notion, Notion, Notion.so. Just go to Notion. You'll do a quick search. With hybrid work becoming the norm, the strongest teams have 2 things in common: speed and alignment. Speed and alignment both come from having one hub where everyone can share work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. The one thing you need really is aligning everyone around what needs to get done, the why, and the day-to-day work itself. For companies of all sizes, Notion, Notion, provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all the teams together to get more done faster, better, and cheaper. Speaking about that, we'll tell you about the amazing special that's on right now. Plus, Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates and tutorials and inspiration. The product is getting better and better all the time. You always have the support you need. Now, here's an extra bonus. Are you ready? Free, Free. Learn more and get started for free at Notion.so. Notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many friends as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today. Again, that's Notion, Notion.so. You'll be thanking me. It is so wonderful. We use it. It's great. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking as you're always looking for, and finding the good in life. That's the definition of a good-looking person, looking for and finding the good in life. And I urge you again, share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, it's up to you. But if you share with 5 people, that means we'll touch more than 2 million people around the world. And all of these people, because you care about them, you selected these 5, you can make a difference in their lives. Everybody can do this. There's nothing that's going to
hold you. In a good way. We won't get in trouble.
Okay, let's talk about using this process let's be blunt. You need a certain emotional state to be able to sit with a book, knowing it's going to be fun, knowing you're going to be able to do something more with it. How do you create that emotional state that gets you to the place where now this process that used to be difficult has a shift, and now you see it as liberating and wonderful and opening and beneficial?
Emotional intelligence is the missing piece in learning. Many people learn and then they get nervous taking an exam and can't remember what they learned. Or they're asked to do a presentation in public and this is a big one. More people are afraid of public speaking than dying. And so their emotions are interfering with their success. I'm going to tell you an experiment people can do at home that'll show them just how powerful state is. So when you're done with this show, after you've gotten my program and gotten smarter, what I want you to do is get a partner. Have that partner hold out their arm and tell them to resist you pressing it down as hard as they can. And you press as hard as you can, and their arm's going to stay straight out. That's step one, neutral. Now have that person hold out their arm and think of the most depressing thing that ever happened to them and look down. And while they're thinking of this horrible experience and looking down, try to press their arm. It's going to go right down. There's no resistance. All the strength in their body disappears just from thinking about a negative thought, not actually having one, just thinking it. Now I'll have them look up, put their arm out, and think of the most wonderful experience they ever had in their life and try to push down, and you won't be able to. And if you want to really try this, have them do it to you. 3 ways: neutral, thinking negative, and thinking positive. And you'll see a dramatic shift in the strength in your arm just from your thinking. Now think about how much during the day you are thinking something that you shouldn't be thinking and what it's doing to your capacity to accomplish the things you set out to do. So it's critical to learn the skills for controlling the emotions, not just the thinking, but the emotions, so that you don't sabotage all the hard work that you've done to get the skill by having the wrong thinking about how badly you're going on a test. Or a good example, you go for a road test and you already learned how to drive and you fail the test, and the instructor says, "Why did you fail?" They say, "I got nervous. It was a test." How many people do you know fail the road test? Not because they couldn't drive, because it was a test. That's emotional intelligence. Those are the skills I was teaching to the Royal Thai Army in Bangkok and the U.S. Special Forces at Fort Bragg. They're very well trained, but sometimes they're awake 4 days with no sleep and have to still do a mission. And if they don't stay in the right state of mind and don't remember what they were taught, they could get killed. Well, you may not get killed, but there are things in your life that you really need to do successfully. And if your state of mind isn't in rapport with your goals and actions, you could sabotage that success very easily. So I spend a lot of time in my program on how to create states, how to change the mindset emotionally so you're in the right state to do what you worked so hard to accomplish by learning information.
First of all, thank you, Howard. I think part of what comes out here right now is this is a timeless and a timely reminder for everybody that you are in control of you. And when you do that with love, we talk about the ability to fly. Fly is a wonderful acronym. First, love yourself. Now, when I say it to people, sometimes they go, well, they recoil. Even if they're not recoiling physically, they're recoiling inside. And I say, well, let's use the example of going on an airplane. Most everybody listening has been on an airplane at some point. And the person at the front of the airplane says, if we suffer a drop in cabin pressure, something's going to come down overhead. Will enable you to breathe. Now, if you're traveling with someone, a child, or someone acting like a child that's next to you, and what you want to do is, the natural instinct is to put on the mask on the child, the one who needs help, first. He said, what I want you to do is remember this. When that comes down, put it on you first, breathe nicely and get calm. Now help somebody else. You can't be of benefit to others until and unless you're really benefiting yourself. First, love yourself. What Howard is sharing here is when you're in that emotional state and you want to stay there as long as you can, which is called every day, all day. That's the goal. And there's no reason you can't, by the way. Just tickle yourself or do what Barry Shore does. And I tickle myself and I laugh out loud and do that. Just work. Just sit still and just think about all the benefits that you have in life. I used to be a quadriplegic, as I said in the beginning of the show. I can at least move my arms now. Hello. I can open up my eyes and get out of bed. Hello. Start thinking like that. And now all the things that are going to come to you because you're the one who's in charge. So I want to say a huge thank you to you, Howard, for what you just shared with us. The emotional intelligence is the bedrock, the foundation. You layer that in with FU, capital N, fun. And now you use the techniques that we learned about, from whether it was the pole to the bowling pins and the skates and all the other pieces, which everybody knows now. Everybody can count to 10. Everybody has hooks that you can put on things. You can remember things backwards, forwards, inside out. And once you start doing that and you play this way, now you're playing the game to win with the goals. Howard, I'm actually loath to say the words that are going to come out of my mouth now. However, it's a reality of life. We're coming to a close for our time together. So I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1 question, Howard Berg, will you come back again?
I'd love to. We could talk. I wrote a book in 5 hours. We could talk about how you do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Number 2, Howard Berg. You have 80 seconds only to answer this question, sir. What is your most fervent desire?
I like helping people. I watch the news, and I don't think anyone says there's just too many smart people making too many good decisions. I have grandkids, and I'm concerned about their future. There's some real serious problems. I want to help people get smart enough to fix some of those problems. I can't fix every problem. I'm a realist. But if every person I teach reads more, understands better, makes better choices, that's going to affect everyone. As they begin doing what they do better, everyone will succeed more. And some of them might find a cure for cancer. Another might figure out how to fix global warming or the economy or any of these other challenges that we're facing to survive. And I feel that's my role, is to be a catalyst to empower other people to find their true calling and succeed at it.
Howard is a cog. C-O-G. Now, when people think of the word cog, they think of a small piece in a big machine. So you think, oh, it's inconsequential. That's not true. A cog stands for channel of goodness, a child of God. There are no inconsequential people or pieces. The machine can't work without you. So Howard's desire is that everybody recognizes I'm a cog. Yeah. Okay, number 3 question. Howard Berg, may I give you a hug in front of 489,711 people around the world? Let me tell you what HUG stands for. 1 second. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. And you're listening to, of course, The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, Howard Berg. And you tuned in consciously and conscientiously for one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. YOU, which is great, by the way, because you're the best you. You make the world a better place, build more bridges of harmony, create joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And in this show, we talk about the 3 fundamentals. Life, your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life. Number 2 happens, you go mad. Mad stands for make a difference. Number 3, uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, such as WWW, what a wonderful world, smile, seeing miracles in life every day. And when you do this, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Use 4-letter words like love, life, hope, play, pray, swim. And use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you want to go after the show, you want to point your finger, have a twinkle in your eye, and smile in your face, point your finger at your family and friends, say, F you, everybody. And say, where'd you get that? I listen to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living, and wait till I tell you what I learned today from 1 to 10, and reading and loving and enjoyment. You're increasing your ability to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And so a prayer, a blessing from Howard and Barry is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Howard, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.